We begin the news from Nigeria, where members of the country's main labor union have taken to the streets to demand urgent action over water and security. In Lagos, hundreds of workers marched peacefully, calling on the government to do more to protect lives and property. Members of the Nigerian Labour Congress, the NLC, occupied major roads in the commercial capital on Wednesday, carrying placards and chanting slogans against the growing cases of kidnappings, armed robberies, and killings across the country.
Our voices we need to amplify. We can no longer continue to keep quiet. We can no longer continue to be writing letters. We can no longer continue to be complaining.
This is the first protest against insecurity in our country. It will continue unless we can see a marked improvement. Right? So it's not enough to ask Mr. Trump to go away with his own problem. The government must, as a matter of policy and urgency, secure our people.
Protesters said rising insecurity is directly affecting workers' safety and livelihoods, with many Nigerians now fearful of commuting to work or traveling, especially as the festive season approaches. Labor leaders accused the government of failing to respond effectively despite repeated warnings and appeals. Insecurity remains a major challenge nationwide, with frequent reports of bandit attacks and kidnappings for ransom in several regions. Police officers were deployed to monitor the protests, which remained peaceful throughout. The federal government says it is committed to tackling insecurity through military operations and police reforms. However, labor unions and civil society groups continued to insist that a stronger and more decisive action is urgently needed to restore public safety and confidence. In a rare and striking moment of African diplomacy, Nigeria has formally apologized to Burkina Faso following the violation of the country's airspace by Nigerian military aircraft, an incident that briefly raised tensions in the Sahel region but ultimately ended in reconciliation rather than confrontation. The diplomatic breakthrough came after President Bola Tinubu dispatched a high-level delegation to Ouagadougou, led by Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tugar. The delegation met with Burkina Faso's leader, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, to convey Nigeria's official apology and acknowledge responsibility for the airspace violation. The Nigerian government also distanced itself from earlier comments surrounding the incident, describing them as regrettable, and firmly requested the release of its detained soldiers and the military aircraft involved. Burkina Faso had earlier confirmed that a Nigerian military aircraft carrying 11 soldiers had violated its airspace and made a forced landing, leading to the detention of the personnel. Following the diplomatic engagement, the Burkina Faso authorities released the Nigerian soldiers, marking a swift de-escalation of the situation. What has drawn widespread attention across Africa, however, was President Ibrahim Traoré's response. Rather than opting for retaliation or public humiliation, the Burkina Faso leader chose a path of restraint, forgiveness, and what he described as African brotherhood, an approach many observers say underscores a growing emphasis on sovereignty, mutual respect, and principled leadership on the continent. Analysts describe the episode as symbolic of a shifting balance in African diplomacy, where disputes are increasingly resolved through direct engagement between African states without external pressure or mediation. For both nations, The resolution closes a sensitive chapter and reinforces diplomatic ties at a time when regional cooperation remains critical amid ongoing security challenges in West Africa.